Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Board of Health meeting, November 13th, 2024. We will start with calling the meeting to order, which we're in the process of. Moving along, we'll go to roll call.
Ms. Gilmore here.
John Victor here.
Colin Straponi here.
Jack Solo here.
Alan Greenberg here. Do we have anyone in the audience at home?
Nobody here. Most of
Here right now. Good and welfare for the public.
Nobody online.
We'll move along to new business. We're gonna grab the Board of Health meeting minutes for September 25th and October 8th. Joyce, you want to start with September 25th?
I have August 28th, I have September 11th. I don't have any.
Why don't you review those?
Yeah, I did review them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, do you have any comments?
No.
Any issues?
No.
All right, Tom?
The only comment I have is that Jack did one hell of a job on outlining the information in those meeting minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I do have a slight concern. These are supposed to be meeting minutes. Are we going too far in the other direction? Too much detail. Meeting minutes. We're putting a lot of time and effort to the point where sometimes I'm reading and it almost seems like it's a
You were at the meeting.
transcription versus meeting minutes.
I know, and I understand your point. And actually, I was gonna say, probably don't have to be as detailed. I think it's awesome. But I would think you probably could, for the sake of condensing, you could probably say things like discussed.
Okay.
You don't have to get as, only because we have the recordings
Mhm.
as a backup. So if somebody actually wants to go online and hear, well, I'd say, I don't want to jump to that conclusion because I have a bit of an issue with the audio on the meetings, which I'm gonna have to reach out and talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's not coming through. I don't know if you've listened to any of our meetings in the past. Since they changed to this setup, it's not, I don't think it's as good as the mics that we used to have at the tables. But in theory, someone could go back to our recorded meetings and listen. But I would say just probably could,
Okay, no problem.
you know, I love the fact that it's details.
Oh, I agree. And as we've been going through this exercise, especially where we're current. We're not going back to meetings that were 3 months ago.
Yep.
In the essence of efficiency, I didn't know if we were going beyond what is necessary for meeting minutes,
Okay.
because this takes you a lot of time.
Yes.
Okay, because you're listening and you're, making notes and listening again and making notes. I just felt as though we had crossed the line almost into transcription.
Well, I don't think my view is I don't think there's a line that is being crossed. I mean, I love detail. I just think it's probably more than he probably has to do for the requirement of meeting minutes. Details are great,
Mhm.
but like you said, they don't have to be, as you read them, sometimes you feel, oh, I'm in the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily, I don't think has to go to that extent, like I said, for the purposes of efficiency and saving some time. It takes a lot of time to.
Right, and then what you give us and we review, if we found something that we felt was incorrect or needed more detail, then we can add. I just don't want to be wasting your time,
No problem. I can handle that.
And
Uh,
this one, I did find mine.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Well,
So that's something, like I said, as we've been going through this exercise and we're so current, I know that I don't need as much prompting to recall meeting. Now, maybe in the past where we were, 3 months, 4 months, trying to catch up with the meeting minutes. I needed a little more detail to refresh my memory. So again, I'm just thinking of time management, not wasting your time.
Yeah.
But yet making them meeting minutes.
Gotcha.
Joyce?
yep, I agree.
Okay. We'll move on to October 8th.
Yeah, did we get a? Are they
Oh, I'm sorry. See this, I'm off track.
any edits, additions,
You can leave
deletions?
that detail out of the next set of minutes.
And once again, Alan's off track. Okay, so we're going to go to our meeting minutes. We were on September 25th.
Yep.
Can I have, if there are no additions or subtractions, a motion to approve?
I make a move. You read the minutes.
I'll second the motion to approve the minutes. It's on the fifth.
All in favor?
Tom, aye.
Alan, I. Thank you, Jack.
Mhm.
All right, moving along. We're on October 8th. Tom, I'll start with you.
I'm fine with October. Get another great detail rundown,
Make it,
you know?
Joyce?
Well,
Okay. So moving along. I'll have a motion, please, for October 8th.
I move we accept the meetings from October 8th.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tom, aye.
Alan, I. Okay. We're gonna go to agenda item 5, old business, Board of Health permit fees, review and discussion.
all right, so at our past couple of meetings, we were talking about changing the fees for the Board of Health permit applications. This page here is what I had put together. On this page, you will see all the permits and applications we have at the Board of Health.
Had it all there and I thought,
All right,
Can you capture that look in the meeting minutes?
you
Yeah.
probably. So the black dollar amounts are at the current fiscal year 2025. The board has decided and approved unanimously that in fiscal year 2026, we're going to start off increasing it at 25%. Fiscal year 2027, increasing it by 15%, and in fiscal year 2028, increasing it by 10%. So the blue numbers represent the 25% increase of what 2026 will look like compared to 2025. The purple numbers in the middle column represent fiscal year 2027 and what that amount will look like. And the last column with the 10% increase for fiscal year 2028 will represent what those amounts would look like. So I just wanted the board to, again, nothing that needs to be cited. I just wanted the board to have a copy of it, and this doesn't have to be decided until like next year before fiscal year 2026. And as you can see, for reference, under the installer hauler septic installer application,
Yeah.
if you see that reference,
Yeah.
right now it's 125. With the increase of 25%, it makes it $156.25. I rounded it to nearest $5, so I raised it to 160. So the actual amounts of the 25, 15, and 10% are in those parentheses next to the fiscal year dollar amounts.
Very good.
So again, I just want the board to have a copy, review it, and think about it.
No, great visual. And,
yeah, I love how you do it because it makes it make sense, you know? I think it's so important to,
And again, just a
Different
reminder,
colors in these two.
yeah.
And just a reminder on the private well septic system in Title V, those rates are determined by Tom Ryder and Stephen Donatelli.
Right.
It threw me at first with the example on this. Do you know what it is?
I don't have that copy anymore.
Oh, you listed the septic installer application.
Yep.
But you listed it on the example of 100.
Oh, sorry,
And I
sorry.
looked at the numbers, like, wow, we're bumping it down.
Must have been septic call I meant. Probably.
There you go.
Sorry. So that's all I had for the,
Very nice.
Yep. Oh, fantastic. Colleen?
Yes, absolutely.
And of course, we'll follow up when the time comes.
yeah, well, time comes.
That letter, we'll send out the folks.
Yep,
Decided we're gonna do that like February.
yes.
How are the returns on application?
Fast
Uh,
and furious.
they're coming in.
Any further discussion on Board of Health permit fees?
No, I think that's a good job.
Good.
All right, so we'll go to Board of Health admin updates, please.
All right, so for an updates, I have hazardous waste day and shredding day for 2025. I got word back from E.L. Harvey and Clean Harbors that they're available on August 16th. But after speaking with Tom yesterday, I'm thinking maybe early October would be better. September is out of the play for Clean Harbors and the shred truck in September to match up the same day.
Yeah, I wanted to just to open it up too for discussion, from your perspective and Joyce's perspective. Just with what we had, as opposed if September's not a picture altogether, that first week, over the first weekend might be better. You have people coming back, summer's over, kids are back in school. Maybe now they're getting more focused on the cleanup part from the fall, leftover summer stuff. Labor Day's gone by, but that might be a better.
What have our dates been? What month have we been in?
The majority is August. We have one in November.
We were probably late to the planning for that one. It ended up in
I
the.
don't remember why.
I recall that was an odd year.
Yeah, we had trouble
We
getting.
got laid into the picture, and I think only because we didn't have anything on board at the time.
Right.
And Jack came to us, and we were behind on the timing. By the time we actually reached out to him, so
Yeah, I mean, I think August has worked good for us in the past. However, I mean, to your point, people are still on vacation or returning from vacation. September would be probably ideal.
September's out of play.
Right.
No, but I actually think October is better because I think that when, like, I mean, I'm the one that I clean the house and do the stuff and get rid of all the junk that's accumulated in the summer, because I think the summer is more of an accumulating junk time.
that's not what Dan told me.
That Dickens.
When in October,
The first Saturday would be October 4th, the next Saturday would be, so I'd start going from the 1st October, so the first one would be October 4th. If one of them can't make it, then I'll just go down the next Saturday and keep going from there. And I'm gonna ask for their,
try October.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, the first,
Yeah,
I mean, I know that, I don't know if you had any feedback yet. The idea was to hopefully try to get some mutual dates between the two of them, the two groups we would pick. Ideally, we wouldn't want to see it go necessarily too late. I still think October is a better timeframe,
Mhm.
but the earlier the better, I think.
yeah, so I'll try and get October 4th first, obviously, that's the first Saturday in October.
any conflict with the green boys, green guys?
That's the next topic on the agenda.
Okay. I'm just thinking scheduling.
Nope, that's all set.
Okay, all right, so we'll wait to hear availability for October. Let's not give up our August availability
Yep.
until we know. So we have a backup plan?
Yep.
Sounds good. All right.
All right, so the next one is, like, as you mentioned, the Green Team Spring Electronics and Sustainability Event that is scheduled for Saturday, June 28th. And that will be between the 4 towns of Blackstone, Mendon, Upton, and Hopedale.
If I had read my agenda closer, I would have had my answer.
So that is scheduled.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's worked out very well.
Yep, and that will still be held at the Misco Hills.
Very good. Anything else, Jack?
Not for me, for Board of Health admins.
All right.
Updates.
Health agent updates. Colleen, you're up.
4549 Uxbridge Road. We received our pre and post blast well testing results. We had 3 properties that came back that tested positive for chloroform, not for E. coli, just for
Right,
chloroform.
I saw that.
One property was negative the first time and then positive the second time. Another property was positive both times. So I sent an email to Mr. Reardon. Jack and I discussed it with Tom Ryder as well. And we feel that, they should retest it for, to confirm the results. So I sent an email to Mr. Reardon late this afternoon and asked for, for them to retest the properties just to confirm the chloroform presence. So as soon as we get a response back, I'll let you know. And then I'm doing 43 Blackstone Street. We sent an email to Karis. We're just waiting for her to get back to us on what the approach. We set out the whole scenario for her, what our next step could possibly be. So unfortunately, we don't have any information yet on that.
And what is he thinking?
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't responded to,
Anything. Right.
to
Yeah,
anything.
I was actually reviewing I have the packet in here of all the steps and everything that we've done.
We've gone, as far as
Oh,
we can go.
The constable,
Yep.
we've done everything we can to try to get some communication going.
And that's, I was just, we're really waiting for Karis's guidance, because the one topic that we had discussed, I mean, that's a pretty lengthy topic and, it's very involved and you're talking about, the possibility of displacing a family. And that's
Oh, yeah.
serious. So I'm looking forward to her guidance.
All right.
69 Hatford Ave West. I met with the property owners now 2 times. I'm working with them on periodic inspections for compliance. Had a nice conversation with a family friend that was there and went and looked in the back and whatnot. And it's not as overwhelming as it was, in prior years. I mean, it's life. It looks like there, some things that got disposed of. A couple of pieces of machinery, had a couple of ideas for the gentleman. He's going to reach out to some individuals who may be interested. There's an old excavator back there. There may be someone who may have, either if not interested, have some ideas of how they could dispose of it. So my next inspection with them is next Friday.
I did go by there, but back in the day, and I would say, and because now all the leaves are off, and it's like,
It's over mostly in that left-hand corner. They clean the front yard and they clean the side
Right.
yard.
yeah,
When I was there, just,
2 weeks ago.
no, it was last week.
Oh, your second visit was on?
Yeah, it was last week. So they had made I saw forward progress, and that was what I explained to them. In order for us to continue with the progress inspections, I have to see forward progress. And they're more than willing. As a matter of fact, the daughter also volunteered to help. They're supposed to have a dumpster, was supposed to be delivered today, so tomorrow I plan on driving by there and taking a look and see. Over there's nothing, in the wetlands. You know, there's nothing encroaching there on the wetlands. It's mostly over on the left-hand side. You know, it's life.
Oh, yeah.
There's different various
Yeah,
and
dog
sundry.
bites from the back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, the good news is that there were a bunch of mattresses there that have been removed.
Right, I saw that too, because I knew that, the last time I went by, I
Yep.
saw that.
Yeah. They're gone.
Yeah,
And like I said, they cleaned up the front yard and the side yard. And, you know, the property owner, I mean, she knows and she's, you know, she has some health issues herself. So, you know, she's very eager and appreciative that the board is willing to work with her as well. So it's it's positive. It's all positive.
good.
47 Milford Street, and that's the joint operations. We received a complaint from the abutting neighborhood of an odor coming. The individual felt that it was coming from this business establishment. This business establishment is retail only. There's no growth or cultivation on site. Went up and did an inspection. They were more than willing to go through the entire establishment with me, room to room, garages, everything. I inspected the whole thing. There's no growth or cultivation there whatsoever. I went to the neighborhood, actually sat there, seeing if I could catch a whiff. There were several neighbors that I noticed that walk regularly, and I stopped and spoke with 3 different individuals and asked them if they had ever experienced any type of odors or whatnot, and they had not. I spoke with a Amazon truck driver and also with the mail delivery person. And none of them have ever experienced any type of odor in the neighborhood. And my mother abuts that neighborhood, and my mother's out in her yard all the time. And I also asked my mom, and she said, no, she's never smelled anything. So I communicated that back to the resident that was complaining. She was very appreciative of the steps that we took to investigate her concern. And she also responded back and said that she had not smelled anything recently. Told her, of course, if ever we can help her, you know, if she has any other concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to the board. Like we said, the permit applications are coming in fast and furious. So Jack and I are pretty busy, you know, dotting our i's and crossing our t's on the applications. The new tea shop is going to be opening up on November 26th.
Mhm.
So I'll be going there on the 25th to inspect it.
And where is it going to be?
Right with the post office
Oh, yeah. okay.
upstairs there. Remember there was a tea shop there before?
Right.
They're going to expand a little bit. They're going to offer some like light sandwiches and things like that. So, matter of fact, the business owner came in today. Jack and I spoke with them, told them, you know, what to expect or what I will expect in order for their doors to open up. So they're very excited. We're very excited for them. And it was really, truly a pleasure working with them.
Yeah, they seem very nice and, you know, glad that the day is coming.
Yeah, yeah, they put a lot of,
Yeah.
lot of work into it.
For months.
They really.
So it's over the post office.
Yep, yeah, right
Side.
when, right on the, not over, like on the same level as the post office, right that
It's
corner.
where Herbs Makes Sense used to be.
Oh.
Yeah, right there.
Down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, they want to participate in, and have some, refreshments and whatnot for the Santa Parade. That was one of their goals. They're also working with the business across the street. They're
Yeah.
collaborating together.
that's nice, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so looking forward to it. And we're also busy with, this is the 6 months for the food establishment inspections and for the permit renewal, so busy doing those as well. And then we had a couple of events on Saturdays. There was one scheduled at Barbell 88, had one last Saturday. Of course, we had the Santa Parade. And then that other one, right, they said in 2 weeks, but she hasn't sent her application in, so.
Yeah.
The food trucks, you know, the farms are gone, but just these intermittent things with the holidays, Saturday events. But
Okay,
Jack
so-
and I are on top of it.
We end up, because of the inspections being every 6 months, we end up with that coinciding with the permit. renewals.
Which
And that-
works out. Right, but it works out perfectly.
Okay, I just didn't want to make, didn't want to clog anything up.
No, it was, to do the inspections in December and June works out very well.
Okay.
Very, very well. That's how it should be. So if there are any deficiencies in December before their permit renewal comes up in January, those can be corrected
Gotcha.
or addressed. Also, too, that's right, too, I'm gonna be going through the tobacco training to do the inspections myself.
Okay,
I think it's on December 3rd.
December 3rd.
local.
Yep, and then I'll be working with Joan, but at least I'll have, I'll be, locally and present like I am for food inspections and whatnot. So it'll just be another asset for the board as far as the establishments go.
Very good.
That's all I have.
That's a lot.
It
We're
is.
busy,
Did good.
both of us, you kidding me?
And I
We're
love-
moving
I
and
love
shaking.
this.
Yeah. Yep,
Yes.
they work very, very well.
Now, is that also going to be used by our animal inspector or?
It will for next time, around, yes.
Okay.
They could actually use it now and just put animal inspector on it.
But she's already out doing the bond books and stuff.
Oh, yeah, those work really, really well. And you can write a note, because sometimes you're like, and you just, you can write a note on it and, and your number, and then it's just a nice way to do some outreach too.
Now, when you leave that on,
Yeah.
do you take a picture?
Mhm.
Just so you have.
With the number, street address.
Document the steps.
Mm,
Very good. Excellent.
That's all I got. Have.
That was a lot.
Okay.
That's good.
Things not anticipated.
Mhm.
Did everybody read the town warrant? Did everyone notice the article almost on the bottom of the page? On the back side?
Not when I first read the warrant.
I'm referring to Article 29.
What's that?
Article 49,
29,
oh, 29, sorry.
okay. They had 20 more articles, so not a lot of people don't show.
So Chairman Greenberg came to the Board of Health office this past Monday, and he asked me as he was reading this, if I knew anything about the warrant article going into effect. I said I wasn't aware of a warrant article for the Board of Health, so he brought it to my attention. And so I went to Jeremy to ask him the question, and my email to Jeremy Jeremy was saying, "Good morning, Jeremy. My chairman of the board came in this morning and asked me about the warrant article below and asked me if I knew anything about it. I reiterated Article 29. And I said, I told him that I wasn't aware of the article, but I assumed it was a matter of the fiscal year cleanup since the enterprise fund was never really established. Could you please send me an email regarding the article, what it's meant to do and what it means for the BOH? And Jeremy responded saying, "Good morning, Jack. This is what we discussed at the first time I met with the BOH, and that was the meeting he's referring to that me, Chairman Greenberg, and Vice Chairman Vector went to. The appropriation was voted into both the enterprise fund and the general fund. It needs to be in only one place or our tax recap process gets hung up. Since all activity is currently happening in the general fund, I wanted to keep it in there. Zero out the budgets for the enterprise fund. Nothing is actually happening in it anyway. Then do it right for fiscal year 26, where we appropriate into the enterprise fund only and do not actively put it on the general fund. So what happens was, if you remember from the annual town meeting, Dan Byer brought it to the attention that it was both in the enterprise fund and the general fund, and Jody said, yeah, but we're gonna clean it up, zero it out, so it'll balance out, but I guess it was never followed through. And Alan and Tom mentioned it to me, and to Tom's point, we wanted to know when this was discussed, and it was the meeting that we went to, I believe it was October 8th, that we sat down with Jeremy. He mentioned the process steps. But
And so in that meeting, he did outline the issues that we'd be facing, because we had that conflict with the monies in revenue, in the general fund, and we had this enterprise fund. Talked about a lot of, just things in general too. What, when this was brought to my attention yesterday, what caught my eye was the phrasing of the article. What had not come out of that meeting was what the end result would be. So as it was kind of left, I knew that Jeremy was going to have to, I think the phrase was puzzle on it a bit to kind of determine what would need to happen. He was going to have discussions with the accountant and with town council and determine the best way to handle it. I guess from my perspective, what I didn't expect was that was going to be what would have to happen. And not that that's necessarily an issue. What I just figured would happen would be they were going to adjust it accounting wise in their processes because the enterprise fund had already been approved by the town. So the people had already voted. So I'm thinking, okay, well, they're just gonna make some adjustments, but I'm guessing that in those discussions Jeremy had, because of what, and you may know as well, processes with regard to the municipality kind of dictate that this would be the path to have to follow. So we're basically going to have to, townspeople will have to vote to undo it. And then it would be reintroduced again at the town meeting in May. I would be I'm correct on that?
I'm assuming the same thing, yes.
Well, the way I understand it, reading the response and reading the article, is that it's the amount of money that's going to be rescinded, not the enterprise account.
Correct.
Okay.
It's the amount that was appropriated into the general
Right, so that
fund.
would be my main concern, is that the enterprise account isn't gonna go away.
Correct.
We're gonna have to start over again. This is just a matter of the amount of money showing up in two places, which is a wrong.
Correct.
That's true.
And this is it's being presented as the way to correct that. So the only thing that would have to happen next year, the enterprise account, if it's similar to revolving accounts, would have to be approved as just a matter of housekeeping. The article would be what the amount is
To
that's
fund it.
supposed to be put into that account. So that's really the only thing that would have to be done, and that would have to be done every year because the amount's gonna change
Correct.
anyway.
Correct.
My first concern, when I saw the word rescind, I really had to think about it. I had to think about it a little bit. Because we hadn't got a response as to what correction.
No response to what the final looks
So
like.
we're all good.
No, we
We all
don't.
seem to be on the same page. You know, again, when I saw the word rescind, my fear was we were going back to step one.
Yeah, because that meeting was kind of open-ended
Right,
as to far as to what would happen. We just never got the word back formally to
right.
the
It's to-
department. Hey, this is what was been determined as to what would happen. So that we wouldn't be surprised when it showed up.
Yeah, I mean, when I first read it, I'm like,
What the heck?
what are the select board doing? But that's good. We got a response. We all seem to feel as though we understand it the same way. Oh, absolutely.
haven't seen it.
That's it right there.
Oh,
That's okay.
sorry.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Which we,
Now, I guess this would probably not happen. But out of curiosity, what if,
Right.
you know where I'm going?
You're absolutely correct. They're only rescinding the appropriation.
Right.
That's it.
And when I first read it and saw the word rescind, the alarms went.
That's
Then I
what
read
they
it
should.
again and again and again. But I was still kind of blindsided by the fact that the Board of Health didn't know we
Nobody
had
told
an
us.
article on the town warrant. So I appreciate the fact that it's been cleared up and it got back to us in a timely manner so that we could have this discussion.
Yep.
And again, I'm making the assumption, you being from a finance committee background, that the enterprise would be similar to the revolving accounts. And you do that little housekeeping, now they have the little chart and everybody's revolving account is up there. So I'm gonna assume that that's gonna become an annual standard.
Yeah, the reappropriation is
And then
annual.
the article will be the amount, and because of the increase every year, our amount is gonna change every.
What were you saying, Tom?
I know, sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's perfect. No, what I was gonna ask, which I couldn't think that practically this would happen. What if the town did not vote? for that?
That's what you're supposed to do.
Is that what you thought came up?
Yeah.
Is that a unrealistic as it probably is, considering how they'll explain it, but.
No, I mean, the thing, I thought about it afterwards. So the enterprise account is established. It's not that they're rescinding the enterprise account, it's just the appropriation. So honestly, to Alan's point, you would take that, that could happen at any annual town meeting because you're always going to be appropriating the funds to go into the enterprise account. I don't see, I honestly don't see it happening that they wouldn't, that the appropriation, like that they would, well, I shouldn't say that because it can happen. It absolutely can happen. They could vote not to fund a revolving account. It absolutely can happen. So I can't say that it can't.
Just curious.
But the enterprise account itself, so this isn't to rescind the enterprise account completely. This is just that appropriation because right now you have you have a general fund and you have appropriation for the enterprise account.
Correct.
That's going to wreak havoc on the recap sheet. I can't even explain to you the pain and suffering that they will go through.
Well, it's a good chunk of money too, so it's not like it's $100,000.
But it just like on the recap sheet, I mean, that's how, that's the finances of the town and that's how you set a tax rate. I mean, it would just be havoc.
That's why, the explanation would be so understandable, and reasonable. I wouldn't imagine why the townspeople would not want to do that with the explanation that will come forth. Because I'm sure they'll need to give an explanation on this mention, right? But I just was thinking in the back of my head, what if they didn't vote?
It's established, but it can happen. It can happen in a revolving account. If you've had this revolving account for 100 years and it's, $5,000 and it's for, I don't know, you're sending out permits, say. And 1 year at the town meeting, it just goes south and they say, no, now, you're not sending out the permits. But so long as there's a reasonable explanation for it, this is the appropriation for the curbside trash and recycling program. The enterprise account has already been established. Now we have to fund it. It's a dual step. Like last year, there were two. So there was to establish it and then to fund it. So now we've established it. They're not asking for that to be rescinded. What they're asking is to rescind the appropriation from last year.
Yeah,
And that
it appears in two places,
Right.
which you can't.
No.
And out of curiosity, so what if, just a what if here? What if it was not voted to rescind the appropriation to this account, to this fund? Is there another alternative? Well, basically, the voters would have no choice but to say, okay, we vote to rescind.
Well, I think what,
Well, yeah, I mean, they're gonna give you an explanation and it's, you know. It's a lot for the layperson to comprehend. So they'll have to explain that we cannot fund it in two different areas of the government in the budgeting.
right, and I'm thinking with my limited knowledge of municipal finances, that it's probably easier to rescind it from this account than to try to pull it out of the general fund,
Oh, it
this-
would be
this-
messy.
right?
Right,
Yeah, because
that's
So,
there's been no transactions on this enterprise.
right, yeah, there's no money in there.
No money in it.
There was just an appropriation.
It was just a vote to create it.
Right.
So it's been
Well-
created, but it hasn't been utilized.
There was a vote to put money in it too, which hasn't taken place.
right.
Well, this is true. So this
So
money.
the money
hasn't
has
gone in.
gone into the general fund.
Right, but there's no transaction, no physical transactions. If transactions had started, so if we started that vote, we somehow then had more discussions and then money's actually started. Like the money, to go into this thing. The error probably would have been caught under the previous, guidance that was overseeing this. You know what I'm saying?
There's no- Right.
Nothing happened with the account. Other than we were aware that, okay, it's been approved, so we'll use this over time, right? When the time comes, we'll get to work on it. Because nothing actually happened with it. It just, there's nothing to correct, and the monies in the general fund have already been,
Well, they've been collected and expended.
expenses. have
Right, so
been
there's-
against that money.
Yeah, so there's no way probably to pull the amount in entirety over to the enterprise account, because again, not only has the money been collected, but it's been expensed.
A portion, anyway.
Yeah,
With expenses.
so, you know,
I just, I was kind of playing devil's advocate there and just trying to throw out a scenario, just what if the townspeople voted not to rescind? I don't know if there'd really be an
It
option.
would be, really, there'd be no reason
No
for
reason
them
not.
not to.
Yeah.
There really wouldn't be.
Just, you know,
yeah, because the money doesn't really exist in the enterprise account.
No, because all the
It was
receipts
an
are sitting in the
appropriation.
GF.
It was a,
Right.
you know, a move to appropriate the money, and it was never exercised. But again, the word rescind got my attention really quick. So I just wanted to make sure that, everybody knew, and that we get some sort of a response,
yeah,
which is,
yeah.
which is good. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else? Nope.
The only thing, well, since Jack brought it up, just out of curiosity, Eversource property? Did you ever get
I
it?
haven't heard back from him now. Well, I'll keep on him.
Yeah, I'm curious. And, the, animal inspector, you referenced that, are we flowing well on the bond book? Do we?
As far as I know, yeah, I'm sure she's still doing her inspection on her. Anything bad from her?
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen a reply by yet,
Just
but
curious.
now that we've talked about it, there'll be a pink slip this weekend.
Just saying.
Yeah, hey, isn't that the way it happens, right? You talk about it and it happens.
Okay.
Any needs, wants, complaints?
Needs, wants, complaints?
Yeah.
We're in a different category?
Yeah, we're just, we've kind of passed on that. I mean, this is gonna be world record time.
Mhm.
Oh, wait, are we in the good and welfare of the board at this point? Is that what you moved on to?
Sounds good.
Oh, I just wasn't sure.
Go.
I mean, I know the holiday season's coming up. I have a lot of wants. You take it, got a Christmas list, you know?
Sure, no problem.
There's only one notice we got from Good and Welfare. We saw the notice about, from the DPH about pertussis and
Mhm.
Yeah.
myro
and myoplasma.
Yeah,
So that's TDAP,
Yep.
and what's the other one?
DTAP and TDAP and DTAP. Did I say that right? Being up to date, they recommended that
Right,
they look at those, consider those if anyone comes in with respiratory issues.
right, to be
And then
considered.
make sure they're up to date with TDAP and DTAP vaccines.
It's not exactly that.
No, I know, and then now I have it in my head, so I can't even pull it forward.
Oh,
As I understand it, the TDAP is the tetanus one.
Hmm.
Is that correct? What's going to do it?
Well, no, I'm actually going to the notification. Because I just read it in the last couple of days. DTaP and TDAP
No, so I'm did that right.
vaccines.
okay.
Yep.
The difference between the two is the age to which they're given.
One low ones and one for.
DTaP is children under age 7.
Okay.
And TDAP is recommended for older children.
Yeah, they came out November 12th, yesterday.
Yesterday.
But for Teslas, it can be really problematic.
Oh,
that's for
yeah.
sure.
Set the next meeting.
Well, the next meeting is the night before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
You cooking?
And there'd be no reason.
I
A lot of people cooking.
know Joyce is,
You know, we were having a meal.
No, don't forget, we're going to your house for Thanksgiving.
Oh, good.
You have those turkeys in your yard, remember?
Even better, I've got one in the cooler brining right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Of the wild ones?
No, I'm, my.
Sorry.
Side story.
I probably suggest we probably don't do the next meeting until December.
All right, so if we're not gonna do November 27th, the next one will be December 11th.
If the board's in agreement, I think that might be before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking along the same lines.
oh, you and me both.
Family expects me to make.
Yeah.
There's two ways we can go. We could either skip that cycle, which I think is what you're, or we could move the meeting instead of Wednesday night, we could try to move it to Tuesday.
I wouldn't be able to be here if I work Tuesday nights.
Okay. I mean, in the past, we've switched the night
We have, yeah.
if we needed to.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we had a fire,
Hmm.
I don't see any reason why we couldn't just skip that rotation.
Yeah, I don't think we have any, thing
Because
pressing.
we do that in December,
Well, this year, December is gonna
be the
be the
20th.
same thing.
Right.
There's a shorter window between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year than normal.
Well, the other thing too is if something does come up, you know, I mean, you can either schedule an emergency meeting or
Right,
post a meeting for, you know. for-
Yeah, there's other opportunities we can-
Right.
right, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
right now, let's,
December 11th.
yep, 6:30.
Yep.
Is that working for everybody?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be expecting one for.
You'll be getting it now.
Calendar. Yeah.
If there's nothing else pertaining to the meeting, we can have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.